Welcome to episode 5 of Downwind Diaries. This is a way for us at South African surf ski to share our surf ski passion, and we are out in Mauritius for a surf ski tour. I'm sitting with Luke Horder from Sydney Harbour Surf Club. We've done a great collaboration over the last couple of days where Luke's brought a big group of paddlers from his community out here to Mauritius to paddle with us. And yeah, really cool to chat surf ski paddling. Luke, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the history of why you started Sydney Harbour Surf Club?
Yeah, well, it's great to be here in beautiful Mauritius. But basically, Sydney Harbour Surf Club is a paddle club. It was basically fulfilling the gap where getting into the sport of surf ski paddling was always difficult. Everyone had to buy a very expensive surf ski. They had to store it at home. And then trying to train in the morning required a lot of logistics before someone would get to work. So it was just identifying the difficulties of getting into surf ski paddling and then trying to eliminate those barriers. So at Sydney Harbour Surf Club, we supply the surf ski, the paddle and the life jacket. People just turn up. And then we have level 1 where people start, level 2, level 3 and level 4, and we just have this amazing progression for people, and it's really made getting into surf ski paddling so much easier.
So we've been chatting a little bit about this trip. You're about to hit 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years.
Exciting milestone. Tell me a little bit about that journey. I think you've grown now to, you said, 150 skis, and
yep.
How many people do you think you've taught how to paddle over 10 years?
Well, we've got an app, so we know how many people have paddled. We're over 10,000 people have learnt to surf ski paddle through us at Sydney Harbour Surf Club. So it's pretty amazing how just sort of one paddle club, one sort of group in Sydney can introduce 10,000 people to paddling. So we're on a mission now to ripple that across, there's so many parts of the world that could do this as well, and we could bring so many more people into surf ski paddling.
So paddling in my town has a lot of history, obviously from Durban, but the numbers you talk are big, and I'd love to expand on surf ski paddling, as you say, around the globe. We've got bases in obviously Durban and here in Mauritius, and sharing the passion from the paddlers this week on their experience of paddling in different locations. I traveled for 10 years around the world to paddle in sort of 15 countries, and have picked the spots that I love and close to home and where I've settled, and I get to sharing those locations, the experiences at those locations with a lot of paddlers, which is really exciting. You do tours all over the world. Tell me about some of the locations where you do those tours.
Yeah, so obviously we're a paddle club, and then we progress people into ocean paddling. So in Sydney, we have an easy step-by-step progression into ocean paddling, and then that ultimately progresses into ocean races and then on to paddle trips. So we've probably seen, particularly in the last couple of years, that the desire for a downwind paddle trip overseas for Australians has been very popular. We've seen that and we've adapted and been ready. We've taken groups all around the world to Hawaii and to America and to Spain and Europe, and here we are. We do South Africa and Mauritius, and there's so many places around Australia as well. But to be in this trip, which is the Mauritius trip, this is just a winning place. It's the winds are so consistent, the weather's amazing, and you just feel very lucky to call this a job.
I battled to call it a job. I've way too much fun on these tours to call it a work.
I got to tell my wife it's a job.
I think we got to bring our families next year, maybe.
Yeah, for sure. This trip's been really cool. A little bit untraditional to my model of we've only had a couple of days here, but just in that short amount of time, you guys have had we have had some great conditions. The wind here blows east to west on the trade, and the first day we were straight into 25 knots of really great downwind. And swell speed's really small, which has made it really manageable. And there's so many different elements to deal with here, with currents flowing through passes, the navigating over these different courses, and
been really a privilege to guide quite a big group through this last couple of days. What are your thoughts on sort of the actual paddling? We know that Mauritius is a beautiful place, but tell me a little bit about the paddling here.
Well, it was great. We got off the plane and literally we're straight into a 25 knot wind with just a small swell on it, which was just absolutely perfect. So to get off the plane, and Barry had transport organised for us, we literally came to the hotel, dropped our bag, and then we just paddle just there. So this is the hotel here, and straight out through that reef you are on runners straight away, and then you run along the reef line, and the wind and swell just funnel along the reef line, so it's very consistent, and you just link runner to runner. You do a really good downwind all the way to Le Morne. It's beautiful Le Morne, and when you finish, Barry's got his team there, the trailer's there, picks you all up. There's water, there's food, there's a beer, there's anything you want, it's all there. And then we get driven back to the hotel. We have a little rest, and then we set up and we do it again. We get to do it twice in a day.
It's been really cool to see some of the paddlers arriving and be quite nervous, and see how much they've progressed over the last couple of days. And I always relate back, obviously we both very involved with coaching and mentoring, getting people into the sport, and that's really a passion point for both of us. And that relates to not just someone learning how to paddle, but learning skills, and this is a platform here in Mauritius to develop as a paddler. I've seen so many paddlers come through this location and really upgrade their skills. It's a great practice where you have more than just wind. There's wind and swell. There's a lot of things to challenge paddlers, but that's where paddlers grow, and when they're put outside their comfort zone. Just a couple of the people that have thrived on this trip has just been really cool to see. I don't think you get conditions like this in Sydney.
No.
How cool has it been to see some of the people improve?
Well, it's a great point to touch on, because look, everyone can paddle and everyone has done enough training and everyone's capable in their surf ski. However, it's always the fear of the unknown, and it's always, what is it like out there? Is it too big? It's just this unknown. But the thing with Barry is we've had a support boat. So we've had a speedboat out there following us on all the downwinds. Barry's been on the beach really explaining in detail what we are doing and where we're going and what we're doing and what to expect. And just a combination of the trust in the coaches and all of those elements, it just allows people just to relax. And they know how to paddle, but obviously the fears come up in front. Barry's kicked those down, and they get out there and we bob a little bit at the start and just get comfortable with where we are, and then we're off. And I think everyone's been able to excel here so well because we've just knocked down the barriers, knocked down all the fears, and people have felt comfortable with the coaches on this trip.
It's such a cool thing to see. I absolutely love it. There's been people that have really improved in leaps and bounds just in such a short period.
Yeah. The
reality is this trip has been 3 days and the guys have got 5 or 6 paddles in, and the measurable improvement is so drastic, and I can't wait for you guys to come back next year and spend a full week here and do a whole lot more, and just get those guys to experience what Mauritius is all about. And yeah, that's it for us for today. Really excited to be working with some really cool people. Thanks for coming all the way across. Your flight schedules are pretty hectic. And
I don't want to go home. Can we stay?
And maybe we can get Luke and the Sydney Harbour kayak surf club back in years to come.
Oh, definitely. You should come to this place. It's an amazing place.
We'll see you soon.